I saw the trailer for this movie, and I was like, wow.
Man.
Like, I really got to see that movie.
It's
like,
insane.
I really got to. And you know what? And especially being here in Atlanta, where this is like the youth football capital of the United States.
Facts.
There's so many young students that find themselves inadvertently getting caught up in things all the time. And this is a story where if you've got a son, especially a daughter even, who is into sports, this is something you want to see. Brian Banks is here with us right now. Thank you for coming on the show, brother. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
You know, seeing your story and having heard about your story, and now it's being turned into, or it's now
it
a
is a
movie,
Yeah.
is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, so in case people don't know, so you're this star linebacker, right?
Yeah.
You're playing with like guys on your team, Deshaun Jackson and others.
Yeah.
You're like rivals is saying you are the dopest linebacker to come out of California. You're gonna take over college football, go into the pro. Like they're already seeing your future.
Wow.
And then right before it happens, tell everybody what happened.
Yeah. So at that time I was 11th in the nation as a linebacker on my way to USC on a full scholarship. And this was my senior year, the summer going into my senior year. And I chose to go to a known makeout spot on my campus with a girl that I've known since middle school. And we kissed, we touched, we made out, but we didn't have sex. And by the end of that day, I was being arrested and accused of kidnapping and sexual assault. I was arrested that same day. And by the time they figured out that didn't happen, 10 years of my life had passed.
Wow.
Unbelievable. You know, I'm almost scared as you tell me that story because we've heard that story play out. Gennaro Wilson here in Atlanta,
Yeah.
same thing happened to him. We've heard it so many times. Why was it 10 years? Like, what happened to make it 10 years?
Yeah. So the first thing was at the age of 16, I was tried as an adult. They felt that the case was so serious that I had to go to adult court. So I went from facing normal camp time to 41 years to life in prison. Once that took place, then it was this whole back and forth of fighting the case and my lawyer trying to get me to plea out to some form of a deal to eventually get into a point to where we were going to select a jury. I was forced and pretty much feared into taking a deal, which was supposed to be probation after 90 days. Once I agreed to the deal, it ended up being 6-year sentence in prison, followed by 5 years of strict custody parole. So that's and by the time I got through prison, made my way out of the whole parole situation and got back in the court for the appeal, it had been 10 years.
This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So I'm sure people who don't know the story are probably thinking to themselves, what was the race of the woman that accused you?
She was black.
She was black too.
I grew up in the city of Long Beach. You know, it was neighborhood of our people. So yeah, she was a young black girl.
And you said you knew her.
Yeah, since middle school. Yeah.
So what happened? What was her situation? Why?
You know, that's a good question, and it's something that I don't know if I'd ever get the answer to. But if it was my guess, it would be that she didn't want certain people to know that she was doing certain things on campus, and so instead of, living the life that she was, I guess she decided to go and say that, I forced her into doing it.
Wow. All right, we're joined by another very, very, very special guest who just walked in our studio. The one and only Sherri Shepherd is here with us. Hey, good morning.
How are you?
Welcome to the Morning Culture.
Thank you so
Frank
much.
Ski, Jade Nova, JR, good to see you again.
You brought the sunshine in.
Yes.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had to put on hair.
Look, yeah.
Brian don't have to do no his hair. Okay.
You look great, so that's all that matters. You look awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So he was telling us the background of of his story. How did you get involved?
I read the script and I saw Leomi, his mother, and it just spoke to me because I have a son. And I said, this could be Brian, my son. And her faith spoke to me, her resilience, how much he loved his mother. Like she just was his rock in the script. And I told my agent, I said, oh my gosh, I gotta, please give me the audition. And it was very hard because people, when they see you as a funny, sassy, comedic girl, to get an audition for a drama, it's really, really hard. And they didn't want to see me. And I had to fight, and it was a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, can I get in touch with Brian Banks, anybody? And literally, they called me in to audition. And then I had to do a bunch more. But I just was really hoping. I never asked God to give me a specific thing, but I said, I really want this. Like, this is the desire of my heart. I have to play this woman. And then when I went and met Leomi, oh my gosh, she's this quiet kind of woman. I call her she's a quiet hero. And she will say, I didn't really do that much, but what you did spoke volumes. And just to sit with her and listen to her speak, she's about to get her master's degree.
Wow.
Miss Leomi.
Yeah,
She's a very smart woman. And to hear her story of how she tried so hard to keep her kids out of trouble, and she put them into everything. And even still, this happened.
Brian, what was your mother's initial reaction to this news?
I think like any, mom, the first thing, when I finally got an opportunity to get on the phone and talk to her, the first question was, did you do it?
Right.
I said, of course I didn't do it. No. And she said, okay, I had to ask. Now let's go to work and trying to fix this. And I think we were just all new to the system. We had never dealt with the court system before, never dealt with an arrest, never dealt with, plea bargains and lawyers and none of it. So it was all new to us. And I think we kind of were rushed along in the sense of, just take the advice of our counsel and hope for the best.
Let's take a second real quick and listen to the trailer from the movie.
By the time I was 16, I had the attention of the NFL. Don't move! But I was accused of something I didn't do. The system doesn't care about me.
But you didn't deserve what happened to you.
I got a claim.
If they do not overturn your conviction, you'll be a prisoner again.
Yeah.
We need something extraordinary.
It's extraordinary that I'm still standing. The truth matters.
My son is innocent.
I'll tell you what's extraordinary. I am.
It's amazing that this still happens. And I'd like to jump on another question. But first, I know you've been waiting, JR.
Yeah, I mean, the Falcons gave you your shot. Nobody had to give you a shot in the NFL. The Falcons gave you an opportunity. You played in the preseason, and now you're working for the league, right? In that capacity?
Yeah. So, being in Atlanta is like being in my second home. You know what I mean? Atlanta has always shown me love from the day that I began pursuing the NFL post my exoneration. So it's always good to be here, and I'm always thankful for the opportunity that they gave me to try out and play for the Falcons. And yeah, I'm still directly involved with the NFL. After the Falcons, I had an opportunity to work 2 years in the front office in New York for the NFL under the commissioner, Roger Goodell. And now that I'm focusing on this film, my book just came out July 2nd called What Set Me Free. The NFL has joined us in pushing this film out, getting this film recognized with promotions and marketing. Roger Goodell, our commissioner, has definitely stepped up big time to make sure that people are aware of the movie Brian Banks. So I can't be thankful enough for all that they're doing.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yep.
So the question I wanted to ask you, in the midst of what's been going on in the culture, Sherri, and our country with the Me Too movement,
Right.
how do you balance this with the Me Too movement? Because you've been outspoken on that.
I think it's really difficult. I think that, it's a slippery slope. I know everybody says believe all the victims, but we still have to, there's some process we have to go through. Because people lose their livelihoods, they lose their careers. And in Brian Banks's case, because there was no due diligence done, nobody investigated. They didn't do anything. They just dragged him at 16 years away from his mother. She couldn't find him for 2 weeks. They wouldn't tell his mother where he was for 2 weeks. She didn't know the charges. Nobody helped her. This was a woman who was she was a school teacher at the time she's looking for her son. And so I think that you can't sweep everybody with this wide paintbrush with Me Too. So we have to be very, very careful because this is a person's life. As we saw with Brian Banks, he lost a lot of his life being in prison as a boy. 17 years old. He's a child. They forced him to make decisions on his behalf. He couldn't speak to his mother. He had to make a decision about whether to take it was a plea deal. What was it? No contest.
Plea no contest.
Plea no contest, which, they get a lot of men on that because they don't want to. They don't want to go through the system. They don't want to pay for the lawyers. And in his case, they told him he would be free and he'd go be back in school. And he got sentenced to 6 years. So we have to be very, very careful with that.
Jade?
I just want to know how you feel, brother. Like now, like how are you on the inside?
I'm good on the inside and the outside. What got me through prison was, realizing that I was not in control over things that I was fighting for control of.
Wow.
And I had to find out what I could control in an uncontrolled situation. And that was my emotions, that I had to realize and come to terms that I had control over my emotions versus my emotions having control over me. And so I think that is what began my process of dealing with such a traumatic experience, was controlling the things that I could control and knowing that no one will work harder for me than me for the things that I wanted in life. So I had to continuously push for the things that I wanted. And I couldn't allow this one moment in time to dictate the duration of my life. So I wanted more for me. I did not fall victim to the labels and accusations made against me. And I self-educated myself. I didn't waste time while I was in there. So today, I'm a happy man. I'm home. My mom is smiling on an everyday basis.
Yes.
This film is gonna help so many people that are currently voiceless. As we all sit in this room, there are men and women that are behind bars for crimes that they did not commit. So I feel like it was important for me to not walk away from this situation, but to turn around, reach back into that dark hole and start pulling other people out. So if it takes me reliving some experiences over again via a movie in order to help others, then I'll do that. But I'm definitely in a good space. I'm sitting next to Sherri Shepherd. So
I literally am still in awe because I would be on the set and see this man who was smiling all the time and go, how do you forgive? How do you... I can't imagine, when you talk about your purpose and walking in your purpose, if it was taken away from me where I couldn't make people laugh or I couldn't act, well, all I know how to do is type.
That's an extension of yourself.
I couldn't be a waitress. I don't have a memory. My feet are bad. I don't understand what you do, and the fact that what we thought Brian was supposed to do, he was with USC, a full scholarship. What do you do when your purpose is taken away from you? How do you trust God? Because even talking to his mother, Leomi, she said her faith was tested. She didn't even know. She stopped going to church for a minute because you went, Lord, I've done all of the things that I'm supposed to do as a mother, and this is still happened. What is going on? So when I hear Brian, I go, Jesus is sitting right on your lap. I don't know.
All right. So Brian, I got one more question in 30 seconds.
Okay.
How do you feel that Aldous Hodge played you?
You know what? That man deserves an award. He didn't play me. He didn't act me. He became me. And I can't thank him enough for lending his skill over to this project. He deserves an award for sure.
Brian Banks movie. It is coming out next Friday, August 9th. Sherri Shepherd. Thank you, Brian Banks. Thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Thank you.